If you're in business in New Zealand, you will probably have to register for GST at some point. Now, GST is a goods and services tax that is added to products and services in New Zealand. It is usually included in the price of things you buy, and most of the time that goes unnoticed. Now, as a business, you will need to pay the GST you've collected and claim back the GST that you have paid. Now, this is done through the government department responsible for tax collection, and that is the Inland Revenue Department, or IRD. And to do this, you will need to be registered. What is GST? Well, we know that GST is a goods and services tax that is added to most products and services in New Zealand. If you are trading as a business, there may come a time that you will need or want to register for GST. The standard rate for GST is 15% on goods and services bought and sold in New Zealand. Now, that same 15% is also paid on imported goods. It's added to the price of the goods, including the shipping costs, and is usually paid before customs will release the shipment to the customer. Now, there are some exceptions to the 15% charge. GST is charged at a zero rate for exports, and for land that is sold between GST registered businesses is also charged at zero. Now, it's worth noting that GST is still charged, but at 0%. Now, in effect, it means that zero GST is collected, but the sales still must be reported to Inland Revenue. Now, GST is not charged on financial services like bank interest, residential rent, etc. Now, there are a couple of other exceptions, so check with Inland Revenue to see if your products, services, or business qualify for those exemptions. Register for GST. Now, whether you are a sole trader, a contractor, a partnership, or a company, and if you have an annual turnover over $60,000, GST registration is compulsory. If your turnover is lower and you expect to go over $60,000 during the financial year, you should also register. Now, whether you are registered or not, you are still getting charged the GST exclusive price when you make a purchase, but you can claim that money back when you file your GST return if you are registered. You can, if you choose, register for GST at any turnover level. So you should consult with your accountant to help you decide the appropriate time to register your business for GST. Now, in order to register, you'll need an IRD number. You should have already applied for an IRD number when you set up your LLC, your partnership, etc. You will also need bank account details for payments or refunds and a business industry code. And that's going to help IRD identify you. Now, this code is supplied by IRD and is found on their website. I'll leave links to the websites I talk about in the description below. Now, the actual registration process is extremely simple and everything can be found on the IRD website. How often do you need to file a return, or filing frequency? The IRD will put you on a 2-month filing unless you choose otherwise. Now, this means you will submit a GST return every 2 months. You can also change this at any time, assuming you qualify, to one of the following. Now, the options are monthly. Businesses with more than 24 million in yearly turnover must file monthly. 2 monthly. This would suit most small businesses and is the most common. 6 monthly. Now, this is available if the annual turnover of the business is less than $500,000. How to keep a record of GST, accounting basis. You have the choice of these options. Again, take your accountant's advice on which appropriate for your business. So, the options are payment basis. GST is owed when a payment is received or made from a customer. Invoice basis. GST is owed when an invoice is sent or if payment arrives early. Hybrid basis. Now, that's a combination of both the invoice and the payment methods. It can get really complicated, so it isn't used very often. After registration. Now that you are registered for GST, you will need to do a few things. So the first one will be add GST to your prices. You can then issue tax invoices to your customers. You'll have to keep tax invoices from your suppliers to claim back the GST. You'll file GST returns with Inland Revenue, and you'll pay any GST due, or you'll apply for a refund. GST and tax invoices. Now that you have added GST to your prices, you can issue GST invoices to customers. A tax invoice tells the customer how much GST they paid on a purchase or service and gives them the information to claim that tax back. If you are GST registered, you must issue a GST tax invoice on request. A tax invoice must have the price, the GST amount, your company name, your GST registration number on it, and it must also have the words tax invoice written clearly on it. Paying Inland Revenue the GST collected and applying for a refund. You will need to calculate the difference between the amount of GST you've collected and the amount of GST you've paid. Now, there are various online calculators available to do this, including a very good one on the Inland Revenue website. Particularly helpful are the commercial accounting programs that will raise invoices, reconcile to your bank accounts, calculate GST, and provide the information needed to complete your tax return. If you collect more GST than you've paid, you pay the balance to Inland Revenue when you file your GST return. If you've paid more GST than you've collected, you can then claim a GST refund from IRD. Now, if you've watched a few of my videos, I'm definitely repeating myself here, but it's important that you get the right advice, and I strongly suggest you talk to an accounting professional. Now, they can help you make sound decisions in the best interest of you and your business. If you're looking for a referral, I have a strong roster of professionals that my clients have used in the past to help them with their business, and I'm happy to put you in touch with any professional, that you might need. Thanks again for watching. If you like the video and would like to leave me a thumbs up, a comment, or ask a question, please do so. I read and reply to every comment. I love answering questions, and I'd love to hear from you. If you want to know more about starting a business and want tips on successfully improving your business, make sure you don't miss out on any new videos, so hit that subscribe button. Until next time, see you again. Oh, that went all right, didn't it?